Hello, everyone. Thank you for stopping by on our platform, our story from Diaspora. To listen to the stories of our guests. And today on the program, Maria Esperanza Villafor will be sharing a unique story with us. Maria is a school director, an entrepreneur, a marketing and event consultant, and also a CEO of Hill Pillar Local Corporation. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, awesome. All right, Maria, thank you so much for honoring our invitation to come share your story with us.
It's an honor.
Thank you. So, how are you doing today?
Good. It's Monday, so it's
Monday, another week. So, Maria, would like to know more about you, personally, about you, where you're from, what you do, everything you like our audience to know about you.
Sure. My name is Maria, but my nickname is Rizza, so it's easier. I go by the name Rizza because that's what my friends call me and my family calls me. I'm from the Philippines. I moved here back in 2018. That was like 3 years ago. Because I had an opportunity to study MBA in New York. I was supposed to move to Canada, but when I got the news that I can study MBA in New York, I grabbed the opportunity because I believe that that's the route that I want to take, because I'm really into business. Not because I want to be an employee for a long time. I like working. I'm a workaholic. But because I want to create something that's really my own thing. And as much as I can, I really try to connect people from different industries. And when I moved here to New York, I had the opportunity to do that. So I had this idea of like creating an online business during the height of the pandemic. And the local economy back home where I'm from is so different compared to where we are right now. So that's one thing. But basically, I am a communication arts graduate. So basically, what I do before is mostly about marketing and events. I handle different restaurants and bars in the Philippines, and that's like my forte back home. When I moved here, totally a different kind of animal because I have to adjust to the industry, and like it's so different. And I like it here because it's so diverse as well. So I really pushed myself to the limit to really understand the New York setting in terms of what I do. When I finished my master's in business administration, I decided to go and continue my master's in public administration, because that's also one arena that I'm not really familiar of. But I believe that will help me to grow my business in a way, and I would learn a lot of things because I live here now in general.
Yeah, so I realize you love education. You have about 3 master degree, right?
2. I didn't finish the first one because I did my MA as well. It's Master of Arts in Communication, but I didn't finish that because I have to move here, and there are a lot of things are going on. I'm already 33. So I think, studying is really hard in terms of like juggling things at work and your personal life, and then the studies as well. But it's fun in a way because it keeps me busy. It keeps me busy. But that's also one thing. I love learning, and I really just wanna use whatever I learn at school and in the practical setting. Yeah.
That's interesting to know. You see, actually, it's my first time. It's the first time I'm having a conversation from someone. From your country, and
oh wow,
yeah, even from Asian. So, would like to know more about your country.
Sure.
So please tell us how was growing up for you in Philippines.
Sure. There are a lot of differences in terms of, first, the weather, or like the climate, because we only have two seasons there. It's
Mm-hmm.
either it's too hot during the summer, it's rainy if it's not really summer. So there are only two. Here we have four. So basically we have the autumn, fall, and the winter and the summer. So that's also one thing that really have to adjust, because we don't have winter back home, and I still have to go to work even though there's no storm, those kind of things. But
Yeah.
the Philippines, I believe, is really beautiful itself when it comes to the islands, because it's underrated. You know, when you go to like the Caribbean or any other islands here around the in this
Out of
area, when you go to southeast, because Philippines is in the Southeast Asia, it's near Thailand, Japan in a way, but yeah, basically near Singapore, so it's near the equator, that's why it's really hot. And we get a lot of typhoon back home because it's a group of islands. We have 7,107 islands, and it also depends if it's low tide or high tide. Can you imagine? But yeah, a lot of foreigners go there. Aside from for business purposes, they go there to actually travel, especially if they're coming from the west, from the western countries here, because it's cheap, number one, when it's very affordable. For like, let's say, a $500 budget, you can do a lot of things, including the flights
Mm-hmm.
and the hotels, and I'm not kidding. Like, you'll get the probably not the best, but like a very decent service and a
Wow.
very decent hotel as well, with a tour and all. The food is
Mm.
amazing, because I believe the Philippines is also a melting pot. So, like New York, we were conquered by the Spaniards for 333 years in the 1800s. So
Wow.
the heritage back home, that's why we're the only Asian country who have Spanish names. And that's evident from my name, you know. And but we're
Yeah, I was
Asians.
sorry to cut you off. I was actually arguing with someone that really, do they speak Spanish in Philippines? I was like, I would like to know more about your country because I never knew, you have the Spanish speaking parts.
Yeah, because like when you go to Japan, they have, Japanese names, Chinese, and same thing with the other Asian countries. But with in terms of our background, in the 1800s, we were conquered by the Spanish, and then around 1940s, 1900s until 1940s, we were conquered by the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have the American influence for a long time. And then after that, we had 3 years occupation by the Japanese during the World War II.
Okay.
So that was too short. Around 1945, we really separated from them and we became independent, and that became the Republic of the Philippines. So it's a democratic country. Right now, I think they're gonna have the election for the new president by next year, and that's gonna be exciting. And but in terms of the culture, as I've mentioned, it's very diverse. We have a lot of influence from the Spaniards, from the Spanish colony, and also the American influence. As you can see, if you go to the West Coast area, even in the East Coast, even just here in Queens, because I live in Queens now, there are a lot of Filipinos. There's a Filipino community in every country, and I believe that, especially when I built my business, like it's an online platform. Basically, it's a marketplace similar to Etsy, but we cater to Filipino products. So if every Filipino community in all over the world will patronize that, well, that could really help boost the local economy in general. So in that sense, yeah, so there are a lot of Filipinos in the West Coast. When you go to LA, there's actually a Manila street somewhere in Jersey, because there's also a big Filipino community out there. We have different influence in terms of food, so we have similar taste when it comes to Spanish food. We have rice all the time. We
Mm-hmm.
have viands. We have all kinds of meat. We have beef. We have pork. We chicken, name it. We have seafood. So that's one thing. In terms of basically the arts and entertainment, I believe Filipinos are really good entertainers. Did you know that Bruno Mars is also Filipino? He
Oh.
has, yeah, Bruno Mars. Sawiti is half Filipina, if I'm not mistaken. Um, we also have one good singer. She's actually the Miss Saigon, original Miss Saigon, and her name is Leia Salonga. She's the voice. She sang A Whole New World. Broadway. She's a Broadway singer, and also Broadway artist, and also a Disney talent in general. So they're very talented. They're very diverse. But in terms of, the only thing is we really need to push when it comes to opportunities, because Philippines is still considered as a third world country.
Yeah.
Until but when you see the progress that we made even way back, like, it could be better. At the end of the day, there are a lot of factors, influencing, like why Philippines is still a third world right now. But at the end of the day, I believe that we're also ranked as one of the happiest people in the world, and you can actually Google that. And I believe that also it's also the one of the, I think, the social media capital of the world. Can you imagine people?
That's interesting to know.
Yeah, they can trend. The news can be trending only if Filipinos share it online. Let's say on Twitter or even on Facebook, because they're very. It's like the social community is really engaging when it comes to whether online or offline. That's also one thing. If you're a foreigner and you go there, we're considered to be the most hospitable people in the world, and I can attest to that. Because it's always like, even though if we have a lot of problems or a lot of typhoons and it's a third world country, there are a lot of things happening, we still manage to be happy and look at the positive, positive side of life in general. So yeah.
That's interesting. I should, look forward to maybe going on a vacation there,
Yeah,
And
you
other
should.
people who would love to go over, travel to the Philippines for vacation, what should be their expectations?
So coming from New York, if there's no stopover, it could last around 18 to more than probably 20, 21 hours. So it's literally on the other side of the world. But it's worth it, because the experience wise, like, I know the weather when you go there, it's really hot, it's crazy. It's humid. The humidity is crazy there. But when it comes to the experience in terms of food, meeting people, even just the islands, we have 3 major islands back home. We have Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So I was born in the northern part in Luzon, and I was born in the city, like a smaller version of New York, you know. So when I moved here, my adjustment was so little in a way, because I work all the time, and then I just do my stuff. But when you meet people from the provinces or from the regions, you'll be amazed, because those people are working from home and go to the islands, those kind of lifestyle they want to do. That's their life. Some of the best people that I met, like, sometimes they own a bar, like in a nearby the beach front, and that's what they do. They just run their business, and then they chill all the time. Half the time they're just on the beach. So that's like that's paradise. Some people want to retire that way, right?
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. So let's talk about your business.
Okay.
What motivated you to create an online business? To market the products of artisans, and yeah, what motivated you to go to create such a platform? To promote their businesses.
Back home, we don't have Amazon. I don't know if it's a surprise to anyone, but we don't have Amazon back home. We have 2 or 3 major online marketplaces. Like one is Lazada. I think it's under Alibaba as well, which is known or the counterpart of Amazon in the East, in Asia. And then we have Shopee, which is I think owned by Singaporeans. And then Zalora, it's more of fashion. Now I realize that where can we really find our own products here? Because we have small to medium sized businesses. Even before, when you go to a specific region back home, for example, you go to Baguio, it's like a northern area in Luzon. They're known for their strawberries, like strawberry jams. And then when you go to, let's say, the southern part of Luzon, let's say, for example, Batangas, they're known for their coffee. So I'm like, we can produce these things because most of our materials are like the things that they use for the products are really raw materials. We have coconuts, we have abaca, we have that can really be utilized to create a new product. Now with this, because my point here is becoming a middleman. Okay, I'm just connecting the vendors or the sellers to the consumers at the end of the day. So that's my business model. Now, if we're going to highlight Filipino products and showcase the Filipino talents in terms of quality, because when you create something that is handmade, whether it's from the Philippines or wherever, I believe that the quality is higher compared if it's manufactured. And right? Because you render more time, everything is calculated compared to a machine doing it. Although automation, of course, right now is the key, because if you want to do mass production of anything, that's going to be a no-brainer if you want to earn more. But at the end of the day, quality wise and highlighting their talents or like their capabilities to create something that's authentic and really good when it comes to durability of a certain product. This is because they don't have the avenue to do that. The small to medium, even here in, let's say, in the States, like the small to medium sized businesses, if you're going to compete to big brands that are already manufactured everywhere, it's hard to penetrate that market. So in order for you to do that, you need to unite the small to medium sized enterprises. Okay, so in that sense, if it's a collaborative effort, their voices will be heard. So we created this platform for them. Okay, it's a for-profit organization, but our vision for the company is actually for a greater purpose. I'm not saying that this is the only way to boost the local economy, but at the end of the day, at least we're doing something that can really elevate
your paths.
Yeah, and that gives me a purpose of like having that fulfillment of like putting what I learned from school into practice in general, and also help people, like, because let's say if we have merchants and they will create more products, that means they'll have more job opportunities for other people, during the height of the pandemic. And it's the structure itself of like doing this during the lockdown is to, okay, it's not easy, but it's not impossible, because we built everything from scratch, from doing it, building the departments itself, and like fixing all the legal papers, and then as well as like creating the website, talking to the merchants. All you really need to do here is like plan ahead and have a constant and effective communication with your team, and everything will follow. It's not easy being an entrepreneur. Sometimes when you think, if you're a business owner, that you're it's easy because you have the money to do that, at the end of the day, that's not the reality. It's a startup. I'm competing with big brands here. I'm not rich. I am doing this out of passion. So it's a startup story wherein I really ask the help of my family and friends to invest, not in me, but to what we can do to help in general. Yeah. and it worked, because at the end of the day, it's like an idea, and then it continued to happen as months go by. And now it's more of like I have this responsibility to really push it through, because people are relying on me. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's a responsibility on my end. The rest will just follow. And of course, there are a lot of things that I have to juggle as well in terms of my personal life, and then like in order for me to function completely. But at the end of the day, I am motivated to really do this because of the people that are running the business. It's not me. It's not only for
So,
me.
do you plan of expounding in such a way that those in the international community could come in and purchase, could do you have plans of going bigger?
Yeah, that's actually the perfect question, because we are working on exporting here to the US and Canada regions. It will go phase by phase. So right now we're on the first stage. Eventually, when it picks up, we are gonna tap exporting to the US first, and in Canada, North America in general, because I believe that the Filipino community here is huge, and once it happens, that we can go to other parts of the world, other parts of a global exporting. So that's one of the plan that we're doing right now, that's already in motion. But at the end of the day, we really need to do a lot of things first. So it's really hard work pays off. I believe in that. Hard work pays off. So believe in something. I mean, this is what I tell to anyone, that if they're sometimes lost with their career, or like don't know what they want to do in general, like find something that you really want to do, that will not just, you're not gonna treat like just 9 to 5 kind of job, because at the end of the day, you're gonna invest in yourself, and once you believe that there's something worth it with whatever you're doing, that it will really pay off, whether it's monetary incentive or fulfillment kind of thing.
Sure. Well, I wish you all the best on that.
Thank you.
So we on this platform we share our stories on why we actually left our country, to go pursue our dreams elsewhere. I knew you already said you had the opportunity, to come study here. Are there other reasons why you decided to, move over to the United States to pursue your career? Dreams and
So basically my personal goals before, my family is back home. I'm the only one here. I have relatives here, and my family and my friends are here. But when I was back home, I have work. I'm doing the same thing. Believe me, I have work. My family is there. I have my personal life. My friends are there. But there was something missing at some point. This was like around 2017. Yeah, and I realized that everything's changing. My best friend moved to New Zealand. She has her own thing now. Very happy, and I'm happy for her as well. And I'm like, if I'm not, because I'm not the type of girl who just want to get married. It's so weird, right? This is kind of like getting personal right now.
yeah, I know.
When I was 14, I believe that, because my mom is workaholic in a way. I've seen her even when I was a kid, that she was always working. She makes time for me. Let's say there's an event in school she has to attend. She's always there. That's why I get her attention sometimes. So I like her only promise, like that she's gonna give whatever I want. Like, let's say a present, if I deliver when it comes to like my grades, if my grades are good. So that's that's how I did it before. So now I realized when I was 14, like if I'm gonna be 30, let's say in the next 16 years of my life, which is kind of around this time right now. I don't think I'm gonna get married right away, but I just want to build my career first and then marriage afterwards. Because at the end of the day, I can only rely on myself. Yes, there are people around me. I'm so happy because my friends and my family are really solid. Believe me. It's just that at the end of the day, I really just need to focus on myself because there's no one that can really help me or can really, do what I need to do except for myself. And then the rest will just follow. That's one thing. That's my mantra at the end of the day. But life is really crazy sometimes. That's why you really need your support system. So that's also my second unsolicited advice. You really need to have a good support group because if you're only human, and sometimes you also have these moments when you just want to break down or like you become depressed or anything. So that support system will really help you to be grounded and go back to where you want to be at the end of the day. But if you're surrounded with a toxic environment or like, not really helpful towards your benefit or like good, it will also affect you or like the path that you're gonna take.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, I believe that everything happens for a reason. I know it's cliche, but yeah, at the end of the day, if you know or like you believe in yourself, like there's no one can stop you.
Of course, yeah. There's something.
Mhm.
So you and I know that starting all over again in a new environment is not easy. You left your family, like you said, your friends, your social network, and then you came over, starting all over again. And there's so many challenges on your way to success. So what were those challenges you encounter, starting out here?
When I first moved here to New York, my first job was sales. Okay. So that it's a commission based work. So I'm not really earning from it. I like the job because was able to um I was able to understand what New York is in general. Because when you go to sales, you have to talk to different types of people.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. At the end of the day, your income depends on how you want to do your work. And I was assigned to Chinatown. I don't know. I there of course they give you training and all, but at the end of the day, I'm not really sure if I can do it. But I it just so happened that I learned to love it, and it came to a point wherein I think I can how do you say it, like I can um camouflage to a specific environment in a way. So let's say I'm gonna be in an Asian community, then I'll be Asian. And then when I go to like a Spanish community, because New York is so diverse, and my name is in Spanish, they don't know I'm Asian, then I can also do that. So that really pushes. It's more of a personal development experience for me when I was into sales. And I'm really shy. And when I'm around new people or with like a new group, I'm just quiet. I'm more of an observer than a talker. But when I switched to sales, I learned that you really need to just be yourself and be genuine, because people usually, okay, this is a secret, not really a secret, but like people really buy from you not only because of the money or the savings that they will get from your products, or if they really like the product, whatever the case is, that's secondary. Sometimes people buy from you because they just like you, and that's the truth. To be honest, I'm so surprised. Sometimes
that's true.
Sometimes
the personality drives the sales too.
Because sometimes they don't really care about the cost. They don't really about what you're selling. Sometimes they see your vibe and they think that, okay, this person will not scam me. And I believe that this person, that, and then I'll buy it. So that's interesting. I learned that from sales. Now it's just so happened that I have, as I mentioned, like, I have, when you have like bigger roles, it comes with greater responsibility, and that is true.
Yeah,
That's so true. That's so true. It's not about the what do you call this, being famous or the prestige of having that. No, I never crossed my mind. It's more about how can I improve or like enhance what we have right now, so that I can help the people who are running the show in general, because when you're on a business, people are relying on you, and there are different, we all came from different backgrounds, and then if the decision making part is really important when you become a leader, because there's a difference being a boss and a leader. And I learned this from public administration.
Mhm.
That is true, because if you will only just push what you want and not really consider the factors around you, you're just being a boss at the end of the day. But if you can inspire people to do their job, just not because it's just a job, but because you really inspire people to do it, and they do it because they love it, that's something else.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
you are, that's really something else. And I guess experience is also a factor when it comes to, like, being where you are, whether you're running your own business or being an employee for a long time, or like, whatever you want to do. Experience wise, it will really help you hone your skills and your talents to actually become better.
Mhm.
That's one factor. Mhm. So yeah, I don't want to be too stiff, but yeah. So my life revolves around work recently, but I used to live in Brooklyn for a long time. I
Mhm.
love New York. Okay, when I traveled here, like, I was just on vacation here 6 years ago in 2015. I visited my family in Jersey, and then I visited New York. I fell in love with New York, like in the city, the vibe, and all those
Mhm.
things. So when I had the opportunity, I think it's just like fate as well, because I told you I was supposed to move to Canada, but then I had this opportunity, and then I moved here, and now I'm here. It's just that I'm fighting every day. Like, I am here because I want to be here. So like, it's hard. Life is hard, but I just need to do this because this is what I chose. And this is what I believe that I can. I can't imagine myself living in any other city in the world, to be honest.
So let me ask you this: if
Mhm.
you're given an opportunity, to go back to the Philippines, and just go back, don't come back to New York,
Mhm.
maybe you're being offered a very good position, maybe in the government or something, will you want to go back to take the offer, and why?
Yeah, definitely. If Because at the end of the day, my family is there,
Mm-hmm.
so I want to really spend my time with them, especially my parents, and they're not getting younger. That's number one reason. But I also want them to experience what I experienced. Not really what I experienced here completely, but like the good things that I like about New York, or
Mm-hmm.
like the good things why I moved out. you know I love the Philippines. It's the best place to actually, if you want to unwind, if you want to, it's an underrated country for me when it comes to paradise, or like islands and like vacation. But right now, at this point of my life, I think I am where I'm supposed to be, and I'm just going by it day by day. And if there will be a chance that I can go back there and reconnect with my family, then definitely, yeah, why not?
Okay, New York is a beautiful city, the most diverse city in the world,
Yes,
so
that's true.
being in New York alone, you've learned a lot of things, different culture, different people,
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to go back to the Philippines, what
Mm.
would you be bringing? I mean, what from your experience here in New York, what changes will you be, bringing to your country or to your community?
What will be the change?
Yeah, I mean, from
Um,
all what you've experienced, from New York City, and I believe you might have traveled to other parts of the country, So from your
mhm.
experience, and all what you've learned from other people, their culture, and
Mhm.
all that. So, what changes would you, if you have the opportunity to change something in the Philippines? What would that be?
I don't want to be
That's a tricky one.
political, but the traffic will be there for sure. I'm sure. One of the worst traffic in the world is back home, but I
Are you
cannot
sure
change that.
you've not been to
Yeah.
Africa?
No, I've never been, but I want to visit Africa for real. I really want to. But yeah, I think that we could do better when it comes to governance, and I'm not siding to any political party right now, but things could have been different if the people who are in the position to make a change are really there to make a change, if you know what I mean. you
Mhm.
know because we have a lot of potential. I've mentioned this earlier. There are a lot of talents, there are a lot of brains, um but at the end of the day, if there is an element of, for example, corruption, it's really hard to remove that kind of thing if it's been there for like centuries. If that's the only thing. And I think it should be a collaborative effort if you really want to like thrive or be successful, to really help those who are in need. Okay, so I don't know how I can help in that department because I'm not really into politics at all. That's why whatever I can with this online business, I'm trying my best to really contribute to what can be done at
Mhm.
some point. Because, for example, if you're gonna patronize foreign products versus your own products during this moment, during this time, when you need to recuperate with the effect of COVID, like how can we really go up? If it's just about um colonial mentality, like you're gonna buy things because it's branded, you're gonna buy things because that's what the media is telling you to buy. If you're really gonna be logical about it, then patronize your own, and then from there it will just prosper. Like, let's see how it will go. And then it can be also copied by different countries. Who
Yeah.
knows? you
Mhm.
know like, if that day comes, then I'm gonna be. I think that's the only time that I consider. I made it. That's my fulfillment there.
Yeah.
you know, I mean, the money is there, of course, but at the end of the day, if you're just, because sometimes material things can really be draining if you're just really after those things. But if you have a greater purpose of why you're doing things, and it's just not about the money, I guess it will give you more motivation and more, you
Yeah.
know
Mhm.
more energy to do what you need to do at the end of the day.
Yes, so Maria, it's been a long day. So,
I
but
know.
before I let you go, let me ask you this. So, there's a
Sure.
lot of young people out there,
Hmm.
who has the same energy like you do, and who aspires, to come as far as you have come afar, so many of them even want to travel abroad to pursue their dreams, but they need all this encouragement. So part of this platform, is to encourage people out there who aspires to get to, where some of our guests are, or I mean, have who love to achieve as much as they have achieved, so like to give them 1 or 2 words. So what is your advice to that young entrepreneur out there who, aspires to, get to where you are or beyond? So what's your advice to that person?
I mean, bottom line is you really need to know where your roots are. At the end of the day, if you don't know how to look back, you don't know where you're gonna be. That's why I also initiated this business, because I know I'm from the Philippines. I know we have talents. I know we can do this. That's why I'm trying to push it towards the direction where I think it could be more. First, sometimes if you're a traveler or if you're a foreigner, you forget things that or like that has been a tradition from your way back. And I think that's not okay at the end of the day. I'm not saying, but that's just my own thing. It's not for everyone, but if you know your roots, if you're rounded enough, you can go a long mile. Because at the end of the day, we all live in the same planet.
Yeah.
Right? And of course, there is diversity, especially here in New York. But if you are just genuine enough and you don't forget where you came from, that could go a long way. So that's my only advice.
Thank you for your advice. And so a lot of people from different parts of the world, log into our site. So listen to stories.
So honored.
So you really can't tell someone. I could have some fans from the Philippines, who are also listening to this or who will be listening to this. So if they want to patronize the business or patronize the people's business you promote on your site or your online marketplace, how would they do that?
Thank you. So they can go to Pili Local. It's PILILOKAL.com. That's it. PiliLocal.com, which means choose local when you translate it to English. So it's very simple, straightforward. When you go there, you'll see the products, all our promotions. So yeah, everything is there. Hopefully we can export towards Africa, anywhere, like but yeah, it's gonna be a long what do you call this, long-term goal for us, but I'm gonna try my best.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. You might say it might be a long time, but you really can't tell. There should be room for investment. People might come in to invest, and before you know it, you're already there exporting to different parts of the world, because I believe Amazon started somewhere, Alibaba started somewhere, and this is a very good thing you're doing, promoting the local market. Someone out there may be willing to want to invest, and before you know it, you're there too. So yeah, thank you so much for
thank you, Ray,
taking the time to come share your story with us. I believe a lot of people out there will be watching this, will be inspired, and thank you for the advice you gave to them. So, thank you everyone who'll be stopping by to listen to our story from the Diaspora. Please don't forget to share our story and like our pages too. And we'll see you next time with our next guest. Bye for now.
Thank you guys. It's an honor.